Okay, so for this lesson, we are going to start with the key terms, just because there's not a ton there's only one, and it's not super discussion encouraging, I guess. It's just a one simple thing. Piecework this lesson is about. So again, so far I've been talking about lots of different ways to get paid. These 1.2 lessons have been less common ways to get paid. So this what piecework is. What you will see sometimes in the questions is they will say they are paid per piece, which is why they call this piecework. A lot of times this is working in a factory or a farm. For example, like if you're in the Amazon warehouse, they might say, okay, we'll pay you this much per box that you pack, or per this much for this many size boxes, this much for this many size boxes. It's to encourage people to work harder. They may also pay you an hourly rate in addition to, hey, you get your hourly rate as well as you'll get more money the more you pack, like in a factory or a warehouse, or the more you pick. So some of the questions here, again, dealing with things like that. Or again, it might be also things you make. If you are working in a factory and you're assembling something, if you're assembling a certain type of electronic, however many you assemble, that's what you get paid for. So it's pretty simple. Keep in mind that per means to multiply, right? Let's go ahead and look at our first question. Kate works in a dress factory that makes dresses for designer boutiques. She is paid a piecework rate of $85 per unit. Again, that's the piece there, produced. Yesterday, she made 3 dresses. How much did she earn? This is easing us in. This is pretty simple, I would hope. How much did she earn? She earns $85 per unit, and there's 3 of them. What do you think we should do? We should multiply, right? 85 per piece, and the piece we're talking about here is dresses. So she gets $85 for each dress that she makes. So 85 times 3. Let me change the batteries on. This is 255. That's it. So that's what we're going to be looking at is multiplying, right? Because you are paid for each thing that you do, for each piece you produce, each, per, every, of. Those are all multiply words. Let's make it a little more complicated now. And again, hopefully this should look familiar, this phrasing. Tony picks strawberries and gets paid at a piecework rate of 45 cents per container for the first 200 containers picked. That phrasing should look familiar. He then gets 65 cents per container for every container over 200 that he picks. Last week, Tony picked 270. How much did he earn? So this is a situation where we're going to have our total and we're going to break it down. This is going to happen very often. Yes. This sort of phrasing occurs a lot. So 270, you always start with their total. He picked 270 containers, and we need to break it up. So I want you to read and see if you remember again, based on what they say, and the first containers, what are going to be my 2 numbers I'm breaking this up into? Well, the first number is always the number they give us here, the first, 200. Our second number is any container over 200. So if he picked 270, that means he picked 70 over 200. Once again, we are subtracting these two. 270 minus 200, he picked 70 extra. So let's go back and read what he gets paid. So these are all the containers that he picked. Now, again, what they do is they incentivize you to pick more. For the first 200, he's only getting 45 cents per container. So for each of them, for each of the first 200. But then once he picks more than 200, they are paying him more. So again, that's the incentive to hopefully do more. So 45 cents per container, and we have 200 containers per, tells us to do what again? Multiply. So 200 times 45 cents, be careful that you're doing 0.45. That's 45 cents, not 45, that'd be $45. So 200 containers times 0.45. Let me use real quick. So he would be getting $90 paid off of those 200 containers. Now these 70 containers get paid differently. These get paid 65 cents each. Again, each, per, of, every. That means to multiply. So 70 times 0.65 is 45.50. And then again, we know hopefully that every time we do this little breakdown, we're going to add those numbers back together at the end. So we're going to add 90 plus 45.50. Oops. 90 plus 45.50, not multiply, is 135.50. So this is how much he's getting paid. So you're going to try it 2 more times. So I want to make sure I can get 2 extra chances to explain this, because some people kind of struggle with this for a while, yeah? But again, based on what they say, we do our breakdown. We end up with 2 numbers for the 2 different rates we are given. Again, we were given 2 different rates, 45 cents for the first chunk and 65 cents each for the second chunk. So go ahead and I want you to read this one. We'll break it down. This one, I always forget. This one is a trick question. I'll tell you that. Read it and see if you can tell why this is a trick question. We still are going to have an answer, but it is, again, slightly a trick question. Go ahead and try it. Okay, so here's why it's a trick question. Brianna picks tomatoes on a local farm. She receives 11 cents per crate for the first 50 crates. She then receives 20 cents per crate for any extra crates. She only picked 45 crates. So hopefully you were like, wait. She did not pick any crates over 50, right? She doesn't get this pay rate because she didn't pick at least 50 crates. If she picked 51 crates, then yes, that one extra crate over 50 she'd get 20 cents for. But she only picked 45. So she only gets the 11 cents per crate rate. This rate does not apply to her because, again, she didn't pick enough. This can happen, again, this is why they incentivize you. They're like, hey, you got to pick at least 50 to get this higher pay rate. So this is just 11 cents per crate, and we have 45. Go ahead and do it in your calculator real quick if you need to. This is 0.11 times 45. 45 crates at 11 cents each gets us $4.95. I would hope she's paid more than this, but again, usually they get an hourly rate as well, and a lot of times these questions and numbers are just made up, so hopefully not super realistic. So that doesn't happen often, I will tell you, but that's what you would do, and that's how the pay would be calculated in real life if you don't pick more than this chunk they tell you. You just get the first pay rate, you didn't earn the second pay rate. Okay, we're gonna try one more time. This one does work like the first problem we did where we break it down. And hopefully, again, you can see the difference of why this one does work for the breakdown while the last question didn't. Go ahead and try this one again. Okay, so we're focusing on the fact that there's 15 articles total. You should have already read the problem, so I'm just kind of skipping through it. You always start with what they have. What is the total? It breaks down into the first number they tell us, so first 10, and then every article over 10, which in this case means 5, right? If he wrote 15 articles, there's the first 10, and then there's 5 extra, that's 15. Now, this one again is a little bit different with the phrasing, so we have to be careful. Okay, so it says he is paid a rate of $50 for the first 10 articles. So this will happen occasionally. We have to be careful with this. $50 for the first 10. Notice there is no each or every or per. So what this means is this first 10 articles, he gets $50 total. So if you did 10 times 50, you'll want to change that. $50 for the first 10 just means not for every. He needs to write at least 10 articles and then he will get 50. Again, it does not say 50 for each of or for every. The phrasing in these word problems, guys, and we'll get used to it, is very important. Now let's read the next one. He gets $75 for, here's every. So that does mean to multiply on the second one. Again, it does not say 50 for each. So off of these 10 articles, we're not multiplying anything. It's just 50 for those 10 articles. But here, it is 75 for every article, so we are multiplying. So I wanted to show you guys a couple differences in the phrasing. It's not guaranteed that you're going to see all of these phrasings, so don't automatically assume, oh, in one of them I'll have a breakdown, and one of them I won't have a breakdown. Oh. In one of them it'll be this. You have to look at the questions individually. Whoops, I keep doing that. You add them together at the end. You need to attack each question as if it is its own question. We do not want to get in the habit of going, oh, what did I do last time? I'll just do exactly that. You want to look at the question and see, what is this question telling me to do, regardless of what other questions told me to do? Yeah. So let me know if you have questions on these ones. I know I went a little bit quick. Usually I take some more time in class, but you can go back and watch the video and you have your practice to try again as well.